Odisha under the Mughal rulers. The prolonged fight between the Afghans and Mughals came to an end in 1593 AD by Man Singh, one of the ablest general of Akbar. This brought a complete subjugation of the Afghans. Of course, prior to it, Akbar had taken steps to implement Mughal administration in Odisha. Odisha under Akbar's rule. With the death of Daud Karrani, Raja Todarmal had arranged peaceful administration in Odisha. By the will of Akbar, peace with Ramchandradeva was made. Man Singh recognized him as the true successors of the Gazpatis of Odisha. Due to this recognition, the position of Ramchandradeva was asserted on Odishan soil, who took up the title Gazpati. In a diplomatic way, Man Singh also satisfied two sons of Mukundadeva by giving them the Zmindari of Aul and Patia, as stated earlier. Normalcy was restored to this land with active intervention of Raja Man Singh. He implemented Todarmal's revenue system in Odisha. There was no intervention in the temple administration of Puri during Akbar's time. Odisha was attached to Bengal Suba and ruled from headquarters located in Bengal. Odisha under Jahangir's rule. With the death of Akbar, Jahangir ascended the throne in 1605 AD. He did not follow the liberal policy pursued by Akbar. He intervened in the internal administration of Khurda and the temple of God Jagannath. Odisha became a separate Suba. Hasan Khan was appointed as the governor of Odisha. He prepared a plan to march against Purushottamadeva, the Raja of Khurda. Before he implemented this plan, his subordinate Raja Keso Das Maru marched against Purushottamadeva for materializing the dream of his master. Occupation of Puri. At the time of Kar festival, when the images of God Jagannath, Balbhadra and Subhadra were in the Gundiya house, Keso Das Maru entered into the Jagannath temple with his Rajput soldiers, having a plea to visit the temple. He tortured the priests of the temple and seized property estimated more than 2 crores of rupees. At this shocking news, Purushottamadeva of Khurda marched with his grand army consisting of infantry, cavalry and chariots. Though the temple was besieged by the soldiers of Purushottamadeva, the Rajput soldiers of Keso Das Maru threw rags soaked with oil and ghee, setting fire in these materials. All in a sudden, the chariots of Purushottam caught fire and soldiers on their top were burnt alive. Kalyanmal's Khurda occupation. With the termination of the governorship of Hasan Khan, Raja Kalyanmal was appointed by Jahangir as the governor of Odisha in 1611 AD. He cast his glances over the kingdom of Khurda, which was ruled by Purushottamadeva, who was guided by Rajguru Vidyadhara. With diplomacy, Kalyanmal invited Vidyadhara to Ghantasila Tangi and made him a captive. All in a sudden, he attacked Khurda. Hard pressed by the situation, Raja Purushottama sued for peace. Khurda occupation by Mukarram Khan. After Kalyanmal, Mukarram Khan was appointed by Jahangir as governor of Odisha in 1617 AD. After the assumption of charges, he was grossly indulged in iconoclastic activities. He injured the statue of Sakhi Gopal. At his approach, the Sevkas removed the idols from the temple of Puri and took them to Gobakdar. Purushottamadeva, the king of Khurda, became furious and wanted to deal with this whimsical governor. The attack of Mukarram Khan was so vigorous and fatal that the king fled away from Khurda and sought asylum with the king of Rajmandri. It appears that Khurda was temporarily annexed to the Mughal Empire. His conquest of Khurda was highly appreciated in the Mughal court, and Emperor Jahangir rewarded him by sending valuable gifts. Death of Purushottamadeva. With his removal in 1620 AD, Husain Ali Khan became the governor of Odisha for a short while. After him, Ahmad Beg was appointed in the same post in 1621 AD. Purushottamadeva gathered support from the local chiefs of Banpur, Ranpur and ruler of Rajmandri. At this, Ahmad Beg proceeded up to Banpur via Khurda. While holding a camp near Banpur, Purushottamadeva breathed his last. He was succeeded by his son Narsinghadeva. Khurram's visit to Odisha. When Narsinghadeva proceeded towards Garamanitri for the safety of royal family, Ahmad Beg invaded Khurda. By this time Prince Khurram, Shah Jahan, revolted against Jahangir and from the Deccan he came to Odisha via Golakunda. At his approach, Ahmad Beg fled to Burdwan and then to Akbar Nagar. Narsinghadeva and his supporters greeted Shah Jahan with humility. Being overpleased at the behavior of the king, Shah Jahan left for Bengal. His plan to conquer Allahabad and Oudh was foiled due to the alertness of Muhabbat Khan. So, suddenly he returned to Golakunda via Odisha. After his return, Ahmad Beg again became the governor of Odisha and remained in that charge till 1628 AD. Jahangir's rule is important for two reasons so far as Odisha is concerned. Firstly, Odisha became a separate administrative unit free from Bengal. Secondly, the king of Khurda lost the sympathy of the Mughal emperor and thus was under the direct rule of the Mughal authority. Odisha under Shah Jahan. After the accession of Shah Jahan to the Mughal throne in 1628 AD, Muhammad Baqir Khan was appointed as the governor of Odisha. In the meanwhile, Qutb Shahi soldiers had invaded Khurda. After assuming his charge as governor, Baqir Khan marched with his soldiers to Khira Peher, 4 miles from Chhattarduyar on the frontier of the Mughal province of Odisha in the winter and invaded Qutb Shahi Empire in 1629 to 1630 AD. However, his plundering of the Qutb Shahi territory took a halt at the advent of the rainy season that compelled him to return Cuttack. Baqir Khan's occupation of Mansurgarh. With the end of rainy season, Baqir Khan again marched to the Deccan with his soldiers and reached the fort of Mansurgarh. The Qutb Shahi soldiers gave a tough fight but were defeated by the Mughal soldiers and the fort fell in the hands of Baqir Khan who returned to Cuttack with a smile. After his return, the Qutb Shahi soldiers reassembled themselves and tried to reassert their hold over the fort. This act forced an aggressive Baqir, who returned with vengeance and defeated the Golakunda soldiers, thereby annexing some Qutb Shahi territories to the Mughal Empire of Odisha. For his act of bravery, he received a letter of appreciation from the Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan. However, his atrocities over the Zamindars of Odisha was viewed adversely and the emperor recalled him from Odisha in 1632 AD. He was forced by the emperor to expend about the realization of 40 lakhs of rupees which he had collected forcibly from the Zamindars of Odisha. Mutaqid Khan as governor. Baqir Khan was succeeded by Mutaqid Khan as governor of Odisha in 1632 AD. He granted permission to Captain Ralph Cartwright to establish English factory at Hariharpur where there was a colony of weavers. From the accounts of William Burton, it is known that the British East India Company had its factories in Balasore and undivided Cuttack districts during this time. Mutaqid Khan constructed Lal Bagh Palace at Cuttack. His rule as Subhadar in Odisha was marked with peace and glory. He remained in this charge up to 1641 AD. Other governors of Odisha. After him, there were 7 governors of Odisha among whom the rule of Muhammad Zaman Tehrani from 1642 to 1645 AD was significant. Prince Shuja had sent him as a deputy to Odisha on his own behalf. During his governorship, The factories of the English East India Company were established in Odisha at Balasore. A notable achievement during his regime was that he dealt with Bahadur Khan, the Zmindar of Hijli, who held power over an extensive coastal district stretching from Rupnarayan to the river Suvarnarekha of Odisha. He ruled like an independent sultan, as if his empire was unsubdued and uncared for Subah of Odisha. Muhammad Zaman led an expedition against Bahadur Khan, who was defeated and imprisoned at Dhaka in 1657 AD. Shah Jahan fell ill and was imprisoned by Aurangzeb, who ascended the Mughal throne in 1658 AD. The period of Shah Jahan was remarkable in Odisha mainly for three reasons. Firstly, there was no invasion on Khurda on behalf of the Mughal governor of Odisha. Secondly, the Mughal army never invaded the Jagannath temple at Puri. Lastly, factories were established by English in Odisha, facilitating commercial prosperity of this land. Odisha under Aurangzeb. The chaos and confusion that prevailed in Odisha during the rule of Prince Shuja came to drastic end with the accession of Aurangzeb in 1658 AD. During his initial years of administration, Mir Jamal established law and order in Bengal and sent Ihtishan Khan to assume the authority of Odisha. After taking over the charge as the Subhadar of Odisha, he issued a proclamation that khutbah should be read in the name or Aurangzeb in all the mosques of Odisha. Next, he intimated, by order, to all the Mansabdars, Chaudharis, Kwanangos and Zamindars regarding his own appointment. Further, he ordered the officers and Zamindars to meet him at Narayanagad. Of course, as it appears, this order fell in deaf ears. Within a very short span of time, he was replaced by Khanai Dauran as Subhadar of Odisha. Murder of Krishna Chandra Bhanja. The rule of Khanai Dauran in Odisha began with a dismal note. The refractory Zamindars of Odisha had ceased to pay revenues to the Mughals. Coming to Jaleswar via Narayanagarh, he sent order to Zmindar Bahadur Khan of Hijli and Krishna Chandra Bhanja of Hariharpur to pay him homage. When Krishna Chandra Bhanja talked defiantly to the Subhadar, the former was put to death by the latter. All the followers of Krishna Chandra Bhanja suffered the same fate by the order of Khanai Dauran. Suppression of Zamindars. Then began the drama of suppression of the local Zamindars. The Subhadar marched against Zamindars like Uddanda of Narsinghapur, Chhatriswar Dhal of Ghatsila and Harichandan Krishna Bhanja of Nilgiri and subdued them. He proceeded to Remuna to look into the chaotic condition that had taken place at Mayurbhanj after the death of Krishna Chandra Bhanja. However, the surrender of Jayachandra Bhanja, the brother of deceased Rama Chandra Bhanja, led the Subhadar to recognize him as the Raja of Hariharpur and to offer his son the title of Tikayat. Rebellion of Mukundadeva. The next target of Khanai Dauran was Khurda. Raja Mukundadeva had turned rebellious against the Mughals by joining his hands with the Zamindars of Baki, Ranpur, Sarangagad, Dampara and the nearby locality. After reaching Cuttack, Khanai Dauran fell ill for 2 months. Being recovered, he marched ahead to settle score with Mukundadeva of Khurda in February 1661 AD. He first captured the 7 hill forts and ravaged Khurda. Out of fear, Mukundadeva fled away, and his younger brother Kapila Bhramarvara Raya surrendered to the Subhadar without any resistance. Other Zamindars, mentioned above, followed the same path. At last, Mukundadeva surrendered himself before Khanai Dauran. Khanai Dauran's harsh steps. Without halting a little, Khanai Dauran proceeded to Keonjhar, defeated Raja Lakshminarayana Bhanja and snatched away from him the fort or Panchira which he had occupied during the misrule of Prince Shuja. With gradual succession, The Subhadar suppressed the zamindars of Ranpur, Dampara, Sarangagad, Patia, Kanika, Kujanga, Maluda and other smaller ones. By such rash activities on the part of the Subhadar, the imperial authority in Odisha was thoroughly reasserted, restoring peace and stability in the land once again. After accomplishing the task, he wrote a letter to Aurangzeb thus, "I have punished all the usurpers, oppressors of the province and made them obedient. The revenue is being collected by our officers. The people are enjoying peace and happiness and playing their trades." Within a short span of time, he collected and remitted revenue amounting 15 lakhs of rupees along with many valuable jewels to the court of Aurangzeb that made him happy. Junad's bigotry. Aurangzeb was a staunch Sunni Muslim and a religious bigot out and out. He appointed Junad as the Muhtasib for the propagation of Islam in Odisha. Several Hindu temples including goddess Sarla at Jankada in the present Jagtsinghpur district and a good number of temples at Jajpur were demolished by his order. In 1662 AD, Aurangzeb issued order for the destruction of Jagannath temple at Puri. However, Raja Divyasinghadeva of Khurda bribed the Subhadar, who not only reported a pretended destruction of the Jagannath temple at Puri before Aurangzeb but also sent a fake image of Lord Jagannath to him. By these iconoclastic activities of Junad, Aurangzeb was elated. Anyway, the rule of Aurangzeb in Odisha was marked for four distinct features. Firstly, the recalcitrant zamindars were dealt with iron hands. Secondly, law and order were restored. Thirdly, Hindu religion was not allowed to spread due to massive iconoclastic activities which brought ruin to many important temples of Odisha. Lastly, the Nayab Nizams of Bengal played a dominant role in discharging the administration of Odisha. So, this is the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. To get the note of this video, scan the above QR code or check description to get the link. Thanks for watching. Have a beautiful day.